Morning, everyone. And just in case you ever doubted this wasn't actually live, I messed up the intro there, and there's a little gap between the two videos. You'd think StreamYard would give me like a put the videos in. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. Um, yeah, morning, everyone. Welcome back to our
Morning.
regular weekly developer AMA. For those that know, my name is Marty, also known as Alcatraz. I'm the lead designer at Raini Studios, working on our flagship title, The Lords of Light. How are we doing today, everyone?
Pretty good, Marty. Yeah, I guess we'll just do a quick round of introductions. So keep it going. I'm Chris, also known as Artkin, one of the co-founders of Raini Studios. Over to you, Ray.
G'day, Ray Drasniba, just a community member. Just collating the questions and the guys can answer them for you. Thank you. Good to see everybody.
And we have a special guest joining us for the first half of this AMA. I'll throw it over to Stephen, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
Sure. Thanks, everyone. Stephen Bresson-Haynes here. I'm Head of Investments and Partnerships at Merit Circle and growing out the Beam ecosystem.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Because yeah, there's been a lot of news, a lot of hype around what Merit Circle and Beam are doing, and where I guess the Lords of Light sort of fits into that whole picture. So yeah, obviously great to have you here so we can chat a bit about it and yeah, drop some information for our community so they know what's going on. So I guess yeah, just at a sort of high level, can you give us I guess just the very quick background on I guess Merit Circle and Beam?
Yeah, definitely. So Merit Circle, as you all know, started off as like an Axie Infinity scholarship DAO, but moved away from that in order to be more relevant in the market in the greater gaming ecosystem. So we've now got a few verticals that we're working on. One is with our gaming partners. So we do some larger investments in JVs with certain partners. We've been doing that for a while. A lot of that was also in the early days, even R&D around what's working and what's not working in the Web3 gaming space. We need to learn a lot more of how we can better support game partners we're working with and what we need to do in order to improve the whole industry. We have a gaming platform because we think the two most important parts right now for Web3 gaming is one, a tech stack to be able to make it streamlined and easy, both for the developer and for the player. And then the other part being user acquisition and ecosystem growth. So these are the two main parts we're working on now. So for the tech stack and the ease of players, we've now built out Beam, which is a tech stack on layer 2 subnet on Avalanche. And the reason we're doing that is we've learned from all of our partners that they want a simple tech solution that they can plug into their games, and they don't have to run around the ecosystem plugging in different wallets, different minting tools, different all these other tools. We just provide one solution where they can use that. And then it gives really simple ease of use for the players. So what that means is players now no longer need to create a wallet, sign transactions, worry about having gas in their account through Beam. We do that all with the developer via APIs. So now you and your players will be able to have wallets automatically created for each new user as they play the game. And the assets are stored in each of these individual wallets. And then you can trade and transact through APIs for each of the players. So it means any normal gamer can just come in now, download your game on the Epic Game Store, start playing the game. They don't have to have gas or a wallet or any of these requirements, but they can still be involved in the Web3 space. So that's really the biggest part we're building on at the moment. And then also we have a gaming platform that we use in order to grow out ecosystems. So we'll be doing a lot of things with the Lord of Lights there around campaigns, tournaments, promotions, all of these things in order to keep growing out communities within gaming.
Yeah, awesome. It's like I said, I've said this to you many times, obviously. But besides, our mutual love of bunting snags, how just aligned Rainy Studios and Merit Circle seem to be in our belief of the direction that Web3 gaming kind of needs to go in. I've said it many times. I've said it on stage at GDC and gotten some interesting responses about it. If step one of playing your game is download MetaMask, you're going to lose so many players just right there, straight off the bat. So yeah, obviously super excited working with Beam. I mean, is there any sort of info you can drop for us just around timelines and schedules and like what players might want to do to get ready for Beam getting out there?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is players, the whole way we're making is players don't have to get ready for it. You know, all they need to do is play the game. On timeline, our test net has been live for about a month, and mainnet went live last week, and most of the first partners like Raini is getting their SDKs, things like that this week in order to start implementation. And we expect a full go live by mid-October. But at the moment, it's still being able to work with a select few partners like Raini to make sure that we can get everything that you guys need and to have a perfect experience.
Yeah, that's been definitely one of the great things of working directly with like the Beam team. It feels weird saying that because I actually worked on a game called Beam Team years ago, so it feels like weird there. It was actually an arcade cabinet we showed off at PAX Australia. But yeah, like working directly with the Beam team has been great because we can literally say like, hey, like these are the exact use cases we're going with. These are like the sort of things we want to try and do. Even to the extent of like hey, like we're integrating Layer 0 with all of our contracts, being able to chat with your team who did the Layer 0 implementation for Beam on the other side. Has just been really great to work with, and definitely excited for all of our players to have access to their Beam wallets and stuff like that, to be able to their Beam accounts or whatever I'm meant to call it. I'm not supposed to say
Smart
wallets.
contract accounts, or
That's the one. Yeah, smart contract accounts. I need to like put a little post-it up here or something. But yeah, no, it's gonna be really cool having that just be so easy and just seamless for people to be able to interact on chain without having to understand MetaMask or contracts or signings and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely keen there. I guess the other thing.
Sorry, I was just going to say, Stephen, where's the best place? Because I don't 100% understand the Beam and the Layer 0. Where's the best place to go to have a bit of a read on what you guys are doing? Where's your information sort of centrally located?
Sure. I mean, you can always go to the Merit Circle website. Otherwise, probably Twitter's the most up to date place. So there's at Build on Beam on Twitter, where we're constantly giving updates around all of our Beam partners and the Beam tech stack, and go live dates and things like that.
Cool. I'll check it out. Thank you.
Oh, I was going to say that you could also just jump in our Slack channel that we have with the Beam development team, but that's probably we probably don't want the whole community just diving in there at this stage. But yeah, I mean, I guess outside of that, obviously, we're super excited. One of the first games launching, or I think the first game launching on Beam. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the first. Yeah,
the first. Yeah, awesome. Always like being the first, obviously. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you've been a huge supporter for a lot of the things we're doing, including, as we dropped a few weeks ago, the 2023 World Championships.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is like what we're wanting to do at Merit Circle is work closer and more aggressively with better games rather than and have a select few partners where we can do things like that, provide a lot of support both on the tech and then in the community. So when we've been connected with Raini as a partner for a long time now, and we feel that when we can see a game that has such high quality and potential just to have a normal gamer, I mean, I use the word normal because I needed it's you don't have to be a degen in order to play this game, and with the quality of production and how we see the gameplay working, this is a game where it can just open up to the 1 billion gamers rather than the 50,000 play to earn style gamers out there. So that's why I really wanted to give that support to Raini after we've seen the potential. So that's why we're really happy to launch this tournament with you. And I know we've got out there, I think we mentioned that we were going to do $10,000 in the tournament, wasn't it, Marty?
That's what we've told everyone up to now. I hate the fact that we may have lied to our community.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's definitely what
Well,
we've said so far.
that's what we
Depends
said
on the
so far.
lie. If it's a good,
It
if it's a
depends on
good
the lie.
secret. Yeah.
Well, it's a good line, because I think like what we're happy to do, we think like the benefits of this tournament are going to be so strong for the Rainy community, and also as it's part of Merit Circle, we're happy to up that to $20,000 to make it a bit more of a incentive and
Nice.
a growth opportunity.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I mean we've been hinting a little bit of that over the past few days, but obviously wanted to get you on here to be able to announce it to the full community. So yeah, yeah, I mean from the absolute bottom of my heart, thank you. I'm sure our players will definitely appreciate that as well.
Yeah, although
Ash,
now with that,
because
they might
everyone
have
good looking is bald, mate. That's all it is.
to.
Chris will learn. Chris will have to shave it at some point. But yeah, I mean, it's a huge prize pool to be putting up. Obviously, we're doing just a heap of events throughout the month of September as well with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I've actually so for anyone interested, this is actually the updated schedule here up on the screen now. Yeah, there's two. Yeah, apparently, I represent every good-looking bald man out there. But yeah. So yeah, definitely with the updated prize pools now. The additional $5,000 that's not there will go towards the player of the championship race. So obviously everyone who participates and does well in various events will earn points towards that leaderboard as well. And the other cool thing that we can announce with this as well, because like I was thinking about this last night, and I'm like, if we're going to double the prize pool, we've got to really make this epic. Like we've got to really make this just huge. So we've actually doubled the number of seats into the grand final that we're going to be putting up out for every single like preliminary event. So our grand final, which now has a 7,500 USD prize pool, will now be a 32 player grand final there as well. So it just will be an incredible celebration of our partnership with Merit Circle and with Beam. And obviously all these prizes will be distributed through your Beam wallet. So even if you have no idea about any of these Web3 things you're hearing about, you just love TCGs, you can get in there and still play and potentially win prizes. And yeah, just it's going to be I mean it's going to be pretty massive, I think.
Yeah, I think with this type of prize pool, it's going to be good and bad for your community, because for the existing ones, they're going to now have to, I think, share this prize pool with some new potential up and coming superstar players, right? I think with this type of numbers is going to bring in not just the diehard fans that have been practicing for a few months now.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
what we saw with the last huge tournament we did. Was the Avalanche sponsored one, which had a $10,000 prize pool. So this blows that out of the water already. It's going to be like a much bigger prize pool. But
Sorry,
it's
Avalanche.
interesting.
We still love you, by the way. Just
Yeah, we still love you. But interesting that you bring that up, because that was the first tournament that we saw like the groups of professional card game players who kind of like came together and strategized and like workshop decks, and yeah, basically that was taken down by someone who had previously not really been yeah, in any of the other official tournaments, and had just been like practicing in the shadows with his own coin. That was Mason, who is Ali Straz's husband. But yeah, the finals were dominated by a whole bunch of people that we'd never seen before. I imagine we're going to see something similar, although I think Nemesaur would have something to say about that. So really encourage everyone to get practicing. Make sure you're workshopping a lot of different decks. The cool thing about this format is we have so many different events where if you don't have the strength with the optimally crafted decks, then you can just enter the theme decks. That's like a pretty even entry level playing field for anyone free to play. Just complete the tutorial. But it's going to be super exciting just to see what everyone comes up with, and all the new players who get enticed by that massive prize pool.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing how all of the different actual tournaments formats play out. That's probably the really cool thing about running this World Championship is that like there isn't really any one particular format where you can sort of just focus on that. You really need to be a jack of all trades. Obviously we've got our theme deck format, which has been super popular. A lot of players get in there and using theme decks in our like ranked leaderboards and stuff like that. Standard format, which we use for all our existing Blue Mint tournaments, our open format, where literally anything goes. Players can use any cards regardless of ownership. And we've said, like, literally for years now, that when we are holding events such as the World Championships, we want them to be open format. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure we are crowning the best overall like deck builder and best overall player of the game. And then, obviously really happy to be doing our collectible events as well. So they're to support our long-standing community who've been collecting cards for a very long time. So collectibles, for anyone maybe new watching this AMA, is what we refer to as like NFT cards. So anything that's stored on chain, we refer to as collectibles. And obviously you can notice there that we've, those collectible events do have increased prize pools compared to all the others, which again, just a way of us, supporting and embracing our Web3 community, which can be really cool.
Awesome.
Nice.
So, Marty and Chris, where are you going to rank up on this tournament?
I don't think we're allowed to answer, are we?
I would love to play. I would love to smack down Nemesaur and put him in his place. I just said that. Come on. Let's make this happen.
You'd get a solid 50th on the leaderboard, I reckon.
Yeah,
Buddy.
let's
That's my
make this
prediction.
happen, Nemesaur. Come on. George is willing to step up. Why aren't you? Just saying. So as much as I would love to get in here and play, one, I'm sure we're going to have a lot of work on our hands to make this happen. It's going to be a very busy September. Probably not the smartest thing to do right after we have our full launch, but it never rains but it pours, I guess, would be the expression. But any of the RTLOL team members won't be participating in these events just for integrity reasons. If I got lucky
mods can, devs can't, basically. Yep. Anyone who could have coded in an I win button is banned from playing.
I mean, we have coded in a George can't win button. That's been going really well in all of our tournaments. I joke about that, and we've had this running joke for a long time, but I don't think there is anyone who has gotten as unlucky in big tournament matches as Big Match George. So there's been a few times I've had the privilege of commentating some of his games. I'm being dead serious here, George. I sound like I'm joking around, but I'm serious. Like, I've commentated several of your games, and like, you'll lose 50-50s, or you'll lose like a Manticore hits the wrong target, or Huncho's Manticore just nails perfect targets and stuff like that. So it's But I mean,
all right,
at the end of the day,
he's been using up all that bad luck on the previous event, saving it all for the World Championship. I think it's a good strategy.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously there's. Oh, sorry, Steve.
Have you done a Marty versus Chris live stream yet?
We
actually
not.
haven't. I know Garrison, one of the Avalanche team, keeps going on about how he's undefeated against the dev team. He beat Chris on a stream we did ages ago.
Yeah, that guy is a natural gamer. What can I say?
Yeah. I think I can't remember what game it was. I think it was Dota or something. He used to be a pro Dota player or something like that. Maybe what we need to do actually is we need to get Garrison and Freak on a match together. See who the real winner is. But they take the Dota Pro and the League Pro and see what happens there. But I mean, for players like George, there's a lot of events here. A lot of chance to work through the bad luck, I guess. We've obviously tried really hard to make sure that our events suit players globally as much as we can. You can see literally in the way we've planned them out. Like we're thinking of all right, players in US, Europe, Australia, New Delhi. We're trying to do everything we can to spread those events out as much as possible. Because as we've said for a very long time, one of our original design goals with the Lords of Light was to cultivate a truly global community. There's a reason why when you go in the game, you don't have to choose like what region you're in or stuff like that. All our matchmaking is global. All of our leaderboards are global. And at the end of the day, our World Championship will be a global competition, open to anyone. And theoretically, not theoretically, we're going to crown someone as the 2023 world champion.
Amazing. And I've seen the last one's at 3:30 a.m. So you're gonna have a nice night that time, Marty.
I'm gonna let Chris look after that one actually. So yeah.
I think I'm busy that night.
Yeah, cool. No, I've got lots of coffee, lots of Red Bull ready to go. I'll be I'll either be at all of these events, or I'll at least be there in spirit. Obviously, the amazing, just give a shout out, obviously, to the team at Blue Mint, and their mods and admins who help us run all of these events. Then yeah, they'll all be there. We'll make this all happen. We've been working closely with them to just really refine how we run big sort of events such as this. And yeah, as anyone know that plays now our regular weekly games or our big like monthly tournaments, the Blue Mint team do a fantastic job of making this all sort of work. If you've been playing with us recently, you would have noticed that our brand new lobby system rolled out last weekend, which basically we realized that while we had built a really cool lobby system with spectators and all that sort of stuff for the original launch, with all the players we're getting now, the systems we'd built just weren't scaling to a level that we were happy with. So we went back to the drawing board. We've rewritten the entire lobby from the ground up to a standard that is definitely built to scale, and can definitely support something such as this sort of World Championship event. Each of the events will have a limit of 512 players. So yeah, we'll open registrations up as soon as we can. Once they're all set up on Blue Mint, you'll be able to see this all on the RTLOL website. We're updating the actual website with all the schedules. You'll see them in the client as well with our tournament tab. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of cool stuff coming up in the month of September.
So any alpha for new players? You need to give me a few tips of how I'm going to win this tournament. And can I win with a starter pack, or do I have to add and change a few different cards in there?
Yeah, so that's the big thing we've been really focused on recently, especially is what we refer to as the FATUI, the first time user experience, or you might hear it referred to as the NPE, the new player experience in the game. Just to drop some random game dev. I've got to make sure that Chris keeps paying me as much as he does. I'm just going to keep dropping random design terms every now and then just to make sure I know what I'm
I
talking
don't think
about.
it's as effective as dev terms are on me, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The devs get all the cool terms. I've got to just throw things out there like Bartle's taxonomy and stuff like that. But yeah, no. So if you jump into the game, if you've never played before, the game will actually take you straight into our 3-part tutorial that gets you up and running, teaches you how to play. By finishing that tutorial, you actually get some packs and rewards just for doing that, and you'll actually unlock 2 theme deck tokens. So theme deck tokens, there's 7 different theme decks to choose from. Probably jump in our Discord or our Telegram and sort of get the community's thoughts on which are the strongest at the moment or the best ones to play. I'm a big fan of red and green personally, but that's just me. So that will unlock those 2 decks. And straight off the bat, all of the theme deck tournaments, so on the screen, they are I don't know what screen showing, they're like the green ones. You'll be able to enter all of those events from that point forward, ready to go. Theoretically, you can use theme decks in the standard and the open formats as well. So you could actually play quite a large number of these events just by finishing the tutorial. That's it. So super easy to get involved and get into the game. Now, having said that, if you were entering one of the open events with just a pair of theme decks, that's kind of like me taking my beat up 98 Honda Civic to, Bathurst. It's not going to be a great time. So you definitely could enter, but yeah, especially for some of the the open and the collectibles events, especially would definitely be where you want to be. Building proper decks. I'd definitely jump in and have a look at the finals of the Indie GG tournament that I streamed last night. That's up on the Indie GG YouTube channel. And we've also, if you go on the Raini Studios YouTube, we upload highlights of all of our past tournaments. So I believe I think the finals are up now for the Chad Doge tournament. I'm not sure. If it's not up now, it'd be very, very close. So you can jump in there and see what decks actually were winning the actual big tournaments that we ran. So that would give you a great idea of what sort of cards maybe to be collecting. And then outside of that, depending on which events you were looking to play, you would either look at unlocking Soulbound. So you'd buy packs through our Battle Pass or through the Epic Game Store to have Soulbound or like off-chain cards. But yeah, if you wanted to basically be unlocking cards that you could use across every event to give yourself the best chance of qualifying into that grand final, then yeah, you'd be definitely looking at buying either packs or like collectible cards on the secondary markets. So all our collections are obviously on like OpenSea, they're on JPEGs and stuff like that. They will be on the Beam Marketplace. I don't know if there's a, is that just the name at the moment, the Beam Marketplace, or is there a different name? Or?
The technical term Sphere, it's a Sphere marketplace, but then, you know, as we spoke about, again, it won't be a place where you have to go to. It will be eventually all in app, so you can trade within the app to get those.
Yeah, for sure. And again, that's I don't know if we actually mentioned that to our community yet, so we may have just dropped a little bit of alpha there too, which would be pretty cool. But being able to do that all from within the RTLOL experience will be really awesome. Especially with the mobile release, which we're aiming to do by the end of the year as well. So being able to just, you know, kick back on the train or something and just, you know, trade cards off your phone will be super fun. And not even needing to worry about like signing transactions or like all that sort of annoying aspect of Web3 will be really cool.
Yeah, exactly. You won't have to take your secret word phrase on the train with you if you want to do it there.
Don't have to have my like hardware key there and like press the little button on the ledger and all that sort of stuff. And yeah. Oh, did you see that video that dropped on Twitter like the last couple of days? Someone's like partner destroyed his hardware key and ripped up his like his written down passphrase.
That's an X trap, right? Where they changed the actual context of the video.
Oh, okay.
They just but
I saw it and I'm like, oh, I couldn't imagine that. But
I wouldn't want to see it.
That's why my partner doesn't know where my secret key is. But that's a whole other. Just don't tell her I said that. Yeah, cool. So yeah, I guess complete mental blank. I need more coffee. Yeah, I guess Stephen, like, yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Obviously, yeah, as I've said many times, super excited to be working with Merit Circle and Beam to do a lot of the cool stuff that we're aiming to do in the Web3 space. Obviously, yeah, as I said, thank you so much for your support with everything we're doing for the World Championships. This is going to be just an incredible month of gaming. With these sort of prize pools, as you mentioned, like this isn't just going to be for like our community or even like the Merit Circle gaming community. This is going to get some attention from any TCG enthusiast right now who is not looking at this and at least, you know, jumping in, giving the game a try, and maybe looking at like, you know, the theme deck or some of the open tournaments. Like, I mean, you're literally just leaving money on the table. So it's going to be really awesome to see as we open the floodgates going into season 1. As you know, we sort of have that more wide appeal with just TCG gamers in general. I guess one thing I just want to quickly touch on, because I know obviously we mentioned that we're the first game launching on Beam, but I know you guys have got some really awesome other games going as well. Are there any in particular that we should be keeping an eye out for?
Oh, there is some really good ones coming, but over the next 2 weeks we'll be making some announcements, but I don't want to. You know, you don't want to upset these developers. They want to be able to properly announce when they want to announce it and all these things. I'm sure you guys understand that as well.
I get that. Yeah, I can't really. But no, definitely looking forward to
strong ones coming out in the next 2 weeks, where we'll be doing some partnership announcements. I can give you some genres. Like there's Genshin Impact style Pokemon collecting game coming out. There's a Battle Royale / MMO that will be coming out soon. There's a Battle Brawler Battle Royale style as well. So there's quite a few, most PvP games at the moment. And then there's a few of our current portfolio as well that we've already announced, like Walker World, Hash Rush, Castle Blackwater. Some of these should be this year as well. So there's about 14 so far in the pipeline, and we're wanting to grow that to, as I mentioned on this call, like more around, we want to be able to grow that to the amount that we can support, so we can actually give assistance on the tech, marketing, and any sides that these developers and games need. I mean, I don't think for us, we've seen every other blockchain and community, you know, aim for 5,000 games to build with them, but then you can't support 5,000 games. Whereas we think now it's a better approach to get the games on there that you can actually support, work with them, and make successful. So that's our approach right now, and we're wanting to grow that number to about 20.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, super keen to see. Yeah, obviously many more games launching on Beam. Super keen to. Yeah, I mean, please pop us in touch with them. Obviously, we're always happy to collaborate and work with other games in ways that we can.
Yes.
And yeah, as I said, definitely looking forward to seeing you in the World Championships as well. I hope to see you at least in the theme deck tournaments, but maybe some of the other ones as well. Yeah, we'll have to get you in. Have to get you on Telegram and get you some coaching from Nemesaur.
Yeah, I was thinking I'll have to give my username to one of the other players in Merit Circle to make me look good, but
Yeah.
that's another option.
Yeah, I mean that works too. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, thanks so much, man. Like I said, from this point forward, we basically just go into our normal sort of Q&A. I know you said you had other meetings, stuff like that. It's up to you if you want to hang around or go take care of what you got to do. And yeah, I
Cool.
mean, obviously aware of what time zone you're in. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Very early in the morning for you.
Well, early for a Web3 person, probably a normal time for anyone else. But yeah, no problem. It was excellent to be here, and thank you all very much. Really excited for this tournament to kick off and to be supporting you guys along this journey. It's great.
Awesome, mate. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure as always.
Thanks,
Steve.
Stephen.
Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate it, mate. Have a good one.
Yeah, like I can't stress enough. Like Merit Circle have been a really awesome partner for us to work with. Like I said, the stuff they're building with Beam is just it is so far ahead of anyone else in the Web3 space. It's pretty crazy. We definitely feel very fortunate to be working with them. And yeah, as Stephen mentioned, like it opens up so many possibilities for what we're able to actually build within the game itself. Being able to have the equivalent of OpenSea within the game itself, where people can trade and sell cards and just have that all just seamlessly integrated, where both Web 2 and Web 3 players can just jump in there and enjoy it, is pretty massive. So yeah, definitely keen to keep working with them. And yeah, I mean, Draz, how many World Championship events are you thinking of playing?
Mate, I'll be in all of them that I can, but I don't think I'm going to do very well. I've pretty well got all the access to all the cards, but that doesn't mean that you're going to do well, because I sometimes I do really well, and then I played a few the other day and just got smashed.
I mean that's trading card games in general.
Yeah,
It's,
I'm getting
there's
better
always
though,
that luck of the draw.
yeah, exactly. And
but yeah.
obviously knowing how to put the cards together is a big thing, but and I'm getting better at all that sort of thing. But yeah, I'll go in as many as I can. I'll get my kids in them as well, but see what we can do. What happens actually, because you got the seats in the grand final there,
Mm-hmm.
what happens if Nemesaur won every one of them? How do the seats in the grand final work?
Yep. Yeah, it's a good question. So you can't actually see it up the top there because it's covered by the little icon, but it's 4 for the opening championships there as well. So basically what happens, so a player will basically, if you qualify, the first seat you qualify becomes your seat into the grand final. If you earn multiple seats, what we basically do is we use the last chance qualifiers, the LCQs, that runs a few days before the grand final. In that event, there's already 2 seats guaranteed. But basically, from the LCQ, we'll just give out seats until we hit that cap of 32 players in the World Championships. So that's just a way for us to sort of spread out. In the case of someone like Nemesaur, I would hate that any player maybe wins the event number 1 and then feels like there's no point playing in all the other events. So there's definitely going to be worth playing all of them, because obviously there's nice prize pools attached to a lot of these events, as you can see.
Exactly.
Any player who does earn multiple seats will receive preferential seeding going into the actual grand final. So when we actually seed the players for the grand final, what we basically will try to be doing is everyone who won an event, will spread them out first. Everyone who came second will spread out, third, fourth, and so on. So most likely, say you won the collectibles championships, most likely your first round opponent in the grand final would be someone who finished like second or fourth in one of the other events. And yeah, we'll definitely, if you do receive multiple seats, basically we've chatted with Bloomint about this. They've got a whole seeding system ready to go, where basically you'll receive the best seed that we can set up for you. If you do end up having multiple seats. So you may have multiple rounds in the actual grand final where you're playing against 4th seed opponents. So it's the fairest way of doing it. while still allowing us to have that full 32 players and allowing people to play in every single event, regardless if they're already qualified through. And then on top of that, you got to keep in mind we've got our player of the championship. I'll share the details of this a bit later on Telegram and Twitter and all that. So anyone who finishes, or so anyone who participates in any tournament will earn points towards the player of the championship. There's a multiplier on certain events. So, for example, if you're playing in the Flightless Space Agency Invitational, that's a 2.5x multiplier. So definitely worth playing that one if you are hunting down player of the championship. And obviously the bigger events like the championship events obviously have that higher multiplier there as well. So even if you are qualified for multiple seats into the grand final, still worth playing because you're probably going to be up there in one of the top spots in the player of the championship race as well. And yeah, another $5,000 in prize money allocated towards that there as well. So like I said, we'll crown our world champion, who obviously will be the winner of the grand finals there on the 30th of September. But yeah, depending on who you talk to, if you look at similar events, like this is very similar to like what's done for like the Masters in golf, or the World Series of Poker, like how they have their like Player of the Series award as well. Depending on who you talk to, for a lot of players, that is actually the more prestigious award than actually winning the World Championship. But I mean, theoretically, someone could come through and take out both. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, indeed. I'm nervous already, and I've got no chance of getting there.
I mean, that's the thing. Like by doing so many events as well, like I have no doubt that there'll be some people who really want to perform well. That maybe do have those opening night jitters going into like the standard championships and stuff like that. So yeah, it's why we have sort of spread this out over a full month. Obviously, it means that if you're not available on a certain weekend or a certain day, hopefully there's still plenty of other events that you are able to participate in. But yeah, it also means that if you're got those jitters and just need to just play through a few games just to sort of get into the rhythm and get into the groove, you got plenty of time to do that before we get into the action ends of the month. That final week with the Tuesday collectibles, the last chance qualifier, and then into the World Championships is going to be a pretty, and then I mean the Open Championships right before that as well. Like it's going to be a pretty crazy. I mean, I'm really happy how the tournament schedule played out. Like there's a lot of really cool events in there. We're actually able to plan 2 of our events around public holidays in India, which would be great for our Indian community and obviously a lot of our friends that we're making through Indie GG at the moment. It's just, yeah, it should be just an amazing celebration of the Lords of Light.
Is there a limit to how many people can join in each of the tournaments? Is there a capped sort of registration there?
Yeah, at this stage, the number we're talking about with Blue Mint is 512. Having said that, that's purely just a logistical issue. I mean, our servers can definitely handle more than 512 players. That's no concern there. If we start hitting really ridiculous numbers, we'll obviously have to take a look at maybe start doing some day 2s or something like that. At this stage, though, the plan is that all of the events will play out on the day that they're being held on. And as you'll notice as well, we've got a mixture of both double elimination and single elimination events. So Blue Mint have just recently rolled out support for double elimination, which is great because that means if you do lose in a round, you keep going. So you're not actually knocked out of the tournament until you lose 2 rounds, basically, which is great because it means you've got, again, if you do have, a bad matchup, you run into, Huncho or Mason or Nemesaur, round 1. Theoretically, you can work your way through the losers bracket and I mean, probably meet them in the finals, I guess. So yeah, it'll be, it's going to be a really fun little tournament.
Exactly.
And yeah, obviously the midweek events, we're doing some turbo ones in there as well. So they're just going to be best of 1 single elimination. Just, nice quick tournament. So for people that maybe are a little bit time poor, if you don't have as much time to grind out some of these really big events, at least we've got those in there for you to, have a stab and hopefully win your seat into the grand final.
Very nice. Do you want to just punch through a couple of questions that we might have?
Yeah, let's go for it, man.
Just Slack has asked a couple of things in Telegram. Basically, how can you get the Chad Doge card from this point on? Which upcoming tournaments have it as a prize? And and how do you get the soul bound? Basically the same question. Oh no,
Yep.
not really. Yep. Go.
Yeah, cool. So I'll answer it more in the context of just all of our promotional cards because it's the same answer basically. So this applies to Chad Doge, Campai Pandas, Crypto Exchange,
Chubbies,
Avalanche,
Blockfather.
Blockfather, Year of the Rabbit, even to go back to one of the first promo cards. So basically, yeah, with our promo cards, they all have set editions. So you can obviously take a look at on chain or look at JPEGs or OpenSea to see what that is. So we will be giving out some of those for various events as we move forward. So the best bet, honestly, is keep an eye on all the events run by Bloomint, or we may do different promotions from time to time to give you access to some of those cards. Otherwise, yeah, obviously take a look at the secondary market. Is the best bet. So yeah, if you are hunting for some of those cards, for example, I know Campai Pandas is really popular at the moment. I have no doubt that the Chad Doge card will be quite popular as people start to play with it. Yeah, definitely check out OpenSea, JPEGs. Look at the secondary markets for those cards there as well. But yeah, we will be giving out all of the promo cards up to the edition numbers in various ways. And then, yeah, obviously the other way of doing it will be through soulbound packs. So there are promo packs available as soulbound packs within the game. For Season 0, we only released them through the Battle Pass. So either the free or the Lux tier had a few promo packs in there. Again, we didn't want to just flood the market or flood players with these promo cards. They are very special cards. We want to make sure that people that are participating in events have a chance to have a bit of exclusivity there for those. In the same way that people who've collected like some of our earlier sets of collectible cards like Genesis and such, once those sets rotate out of the soulbound packs available through the client as new sets come out, obviously they'll be much harder to collect outside of those secondary markets. So yeah, we're in the middle of finalizing things like the Battle Pass in the store for Season 1 at the moment. So there will be more promo packs available through the actual Battle Passes going into Season 1. We do also have the ability from time to time to do special, like one-off, maybe on a certain Saturday, we allow people to buy like soulbound promo packs through the store. So definitely keep an eye on the store. We are able to rotate in like daily offers like that in the same way that we rotate in those color packs as well. So there's a different color pack available for soulbound collectors every day.
Yeah, green one was in there recently.
Yep. Yeah, so they're a great way to get cards for a specific color or deck that you're looking to play. But yeah, there'll be opportunities to get both soulbound and on-chain promo cards. But yeah, obviously just keep an eye out for the events that we're running. Will be the best way to pick those up.
Nice. That in that picture of the tournaments there, the first place prize on a few of those tournaments, there's the Formations Super Chad bundle. What's a Super Chad bundle? Is that 10 or 15, or how does that one work?
Hang on.
Like the old ones we had, that sort of thing, at where we'd guaranteed a mythic, or just a bunch of packs, 15 or something?
No, it's the same as what we did for 7DS and more, I guess more specifically the same as what we did for I'm trying to remember. I think it was 20 packs. I just want to double check that. It was either 17 or 20. I just want to make sure you get the number right.
Maybe I think 15 originally, then you got a bonus to 17 at one point.
Yeah,
in the Tempest maybe. I think 70
so it's gonna,
15.
Yeah, so the plan at this stage, the Super Chad bundle will be the same as what we did for Tempest. It's 20 collector packs with a mythic guaranteed in that pack.
Nice.
So yeah, so they're the packs that we sell for 1.5 ETH, or the on-chain equivalent, depending on which chain they're being sold on. So yeah, that's, I mean, if you are a serious collector, those championship events, that's a pretty nice prize to have sitting up top there. So yeah, definitely keen to see who takes down those ones.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Nice. Okay. All right. We got that.
I love that George is already asking when will the next World Championship happen. George, the next World Championship is happening in September. The schedule is here on your screen now. Enjoy.
He's preparing. He likes to prepare, George.
Yeah.
His new laptop in place, and probably.
Oh, did you get the new laptop? Awesome. Yeah, I knew he was looking
up on the beach.
I knew he was looking at grabbing a laptop for this. Yeah, hopefully that's all going well. Ask me on the 1st of October. Once we've had once the dust settles from the 2023 World Championship and the team has a chance to debrief and go over how everything went. and then we'll work out how we're going to top this for 2024. But I mean, I wouldn't be expecting it. I would, if we're going to do it in 2024, which we obviously will at some point, I would expect it to be around the same time of the year. So we're not going to, it won't be January, for example. We need a little bit of time to at least allow someone to enjoy their reign as the inaugural world champion.
Sure. Myzen in the chat there is just saying he knows there is a no digital collectible reprint policy, but would the team ever do NFT reprints of some of the base cards? So basically, to turn the base cards into NFTs?
We could. It's an interesting idea because obviously that would then allow you to use base cards for collect and earn style or play and earn style incentives. Generally speaking, though, I would say at this stage we're not planning anything along those lines. For the same reason as well, we're not going to be printing common and uncommons as on-chain collectibles at this point in time, like obviously with Tempest and what we're planning for formations. Purely for the fact that we don't want to drop the floor price too aggressively. For better or for worse, we're in the middle of a pretty rough bear market at the moment. So we want to try and make sure that people who are buying packs or collecting on-chain cards, are focusing more at the rare and above sort of rarities. So yeah, it's definitely something we could look at moving forward. And again, with our partnership with Beam and with the way their smart contract wallet account, I messed that name up. Steven's going to kill me. How that works, it would be trivially easy for us to do something like this. But I mean, if we were going to look at something like that, it would definitely be we'd be chatting with a lot of our existing NFT collectors to make sure it's something that they are all on board with, and that it's not going to affect their existing collections or their existing plans for how they like to collect their cards.
Sure. Those collectible tournaments that we've got playing in the World Cup there have the parameters for what you need by way of numbers of collectibles or something been defined as yet?
Yeah, so what we're going with at this point in time, and we're still chatting with some of the community members. We may make if we're going to make any changes, it will be relatively soon. But the current plan for that is that for each of your 2 decks that you'll need for that particular tournament, each deck will require at least 20 collectible cards. So basically, you'd have 2 decks of 40. Of those, 20 in each deck can be more, obviously, but at least 20 of each will need to be collectible cards. We've gone with 20 as the number because when we look at a lot of the decks that are being played at our top level of tournament play, they do use some base cards, whether that be cards like Energy Blast, whether that be cards like the yield farming, like to draw cards and stuff like that. So we didn't want to make it all collectible cards because obviously we need to have a system in place where players can still use some of those base cards. And obviously we need to make sure players can still use some common and uncommon cards from Tempest as well. So yeah, basically your deck will require to have at least 20 collectibles per deck. So 40 collectibles total for those.
Okay. Are we still on target for end of or the 28th, 6 days from now for the launch of season 1?
Yeah, the team's literally hard at work getting everything organized for that. So we're in the process of starting to roll out things like contracts for like the new RST token, stuff like that onto testnets, just so we can actually make sure that all our bits and pieces around that are working. So making sure that LPs will function as expected, making sure that like the layer 0 like omni-chain integration is all good to go. So we're all on target with that. And then, yeah, obviously we're in the process of just setting up all the stuff we need in the actual game client itself. So the battle passes, the new daily quests system, which would be really cool. So you won't just be earning rewards from season 1 onwards just by playing or winning games. You will also be given a range of daily quests to try and unlock as well. So it should make the XP grind a bit more enjoyable. Because basically every day you log in, you'll have some different challenges that you may choose to try and do.
Yeah, exactly. Execute a lust chastity combo.
Yeah, so we're doing a mixture of different quests. We're still finalizing down exactly what they're going to be, but there's a mixture of easier and harder quests in the system. So for example, there's a quest in there, play 5 games. Cool, and that's pretty straightforward. Just play 5 games. Play 5 like quick match games. Generally speaking, anything revolving around daily quests needs to happen in quick match. It won't count games which are like offline versus bots or in like host join mode, unless it specifically states that. Like there may be a daily quest like play 3 bot games, for example. I don't think there is at this stage, but yeah. But there'll be stuff like, play 20 red spells, or, we could definitely do one, which is, attack a chastity with a lust, 3 times or 5 times or whatever we want it to be. And then, obviously there'll be scaling rewards for doing so, both in terms of XP, coins, and for some of them Lux, depending on difficulty and how much work it is to pull those off.
Nice. I think I'm looking forward to that sort of thing. I think that'd be very engaging, I suppose, for people to do those sorts of things and just keep track. Some of them will expire in the day. Some of them will just obviously run for longer periods of time until you complete them. Yep. And where are they sort of shown in the
so you'll see
user
them
interface?
When you log in on the home screen, you'll see them down in the bottom. I think it's the bottom right corner where we've put them just sort of underneath where it shows like your battle pass rank. And you can also go into the player profile screen and you'll see them a bit bigger there as well. So they're very obvious when they're there. And then, there's actually going to be an updated end game screen that should go live around the 28th as well. That will give you more details about actually, what your MMR is doing, what your XP is doing, so the actual results at the end of each game as well.
Cool. 28th of August, RST is coming as well?
Yeah, at this stage, yes.
Yes.
The reason why I hesitate there a little bit is when you're working with blockchains and multiple blockchains that need to talk to each other and a lot of functionality needs to work. At this stage, we're all on track. But having said that, again, with something like the RST token, if something comes up in our testnet testing that needs to be fixed before we can actually deploy it, we would much rather take a day or two to get that right than potentially release a token that might have weaknesses or exploits or potential problems in its utility. So
Sure.
At this stage, yes, we're all on track for the 28th. But yeah, obviously we're in the middle of testing right now. So we want to make sure that everything is on the money.
But season 1 will bring with it the 3 tiers of battle pass, RST being one of them. But obviously, if for some reason something unforeseen happens, the tier will still be there, just won't be available to buy until that's all sorted.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll still be same as at the moment. How you can you still earn XP regardless of if you've unlocked the battle pass. And then when you choose to unlock it, it just activates all those tiers for you. If for any reason RST is not live on the 28th to unlock that, we're just calling it the Rainiverse battle pass now. It was just easier than trying to sort of break the name down.
Sure.
Obviously as soon as it's ready to go, because obviously that exclusive third tier can only be purchased with the RST token. Then you'll be able to obviously get that, and it will unlock everything across the board as well.
Nice. On that, and just I suppose going back with the Photon stuff, remember how we sort of, when Photon was a pass and everyone was collecting Photon, we would have enough Photon to buy that pass. Is that still equating with the RST conversion from Photon from X Photon, to whatever RST those X Photon holders might need to participate in things that are used to be Photon but now they're RST?
Yeah, so obviously with X Photon that will vest over a period of time. We're looking at basically looking at the averages across the board to try and make sure that the average X Photon holder would be able to unlock like the RST pass on day one. I mean, if you unfortunately do not hold as much X Photon, I'll go word this politely. If you do not hold as much X Photon as a majority of our community, then maybe you might need to top it up a little bit yourself to get enough for the RST pass. But yeah, definitely the goal is that the average person will have enough to be able to unlock that.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, that's fine. All right. Down the bottom there, Slack has asked, will there be a PvE mode against certain bosses or else in the future?
Not at this stage. I would love to do single player style content. Obviously, we've got the bot mode there, so the hard part of doing single player content is basically done. In the fact that we can set up bots with different personalities or have them set up as certain bosses, basically. But yeah, something we would definitely love to do. It's a little bit lower down the priority list at the moment compared to features such as mobile, localization, Season 1, World Championship, stuff like that. So it's not something I would be expecting to see this year.
That's cool. There aren't any more questions that I can see, but I mean, what's your general sort of team's general feel with regard to how the game's been running, uptake, all that sort of stuff? You're still, I mean, you're happy. Obviously, the World Cup's going to really push it out there, and all those tournaments and things like that with Pentoshi, his involvement. What's that? I mean, there's going to be a lot of marketing, and I imagine driving into that. You're feeling pretty good
Yeah,
about how things are going?
Yeah, absolutely. Super happy to be doing this alongside Merit Circle and Pentoshi. For those that aren't aware, he's a very large crypto influencer who has a keen interest in Web3 gaming as well. So obviously, that's why we're holding like the invitational events for his community specifically. But obviously, our community can still get involved in it if they own one of the flightless birds NFTs. But yeah, I mean, probably the great thing at the moment is as we're starting to ramp up marketing efforts, you're seeing stuff now with IndieGG, with Morpheus League and stuff like that. Even if we ignore the numbers specifically that we attribute to those players coming in, even outside of that, we're still seeing basically every graph moving up and to the right, which is just really great to see. So, like I had a look yesterday. At like we do like daily snapshots of comparing our current numbers versus numbers from 1 week 2 weeks previously. You know in terms of monthly active users today, or sorry, this is all yesterday. I took this snapshot compared to a week ago. Monthly active users was up by 59.6%. Daily active users was up by 47.8%. New players was up by 228%. Keep in mind that does include some of the indie GG community coming in, so there was an expected sort of spike there in terms of new players. Day one retention was up by 43%. Day 7 retention up by 18%. That spike pretty much happened around the was it 1.1.8 update that introduced a much better flow and rewards for completing the tutorial. So yeah, we're always tracking the sort of numbers. Somehow we're still a top 10 game on Elixir. I can't figure that one out. If you're playing on Elixir, I mean, let us know how, because we kind of nuked that build and there's no servers running. But anyway, yeah, like everything sort of is moving nicely up and to the right, which is always great to see. And yeah, we're obviously very optimistic that doing events such as this World Championship, where you can sort of think of the prize pool of this as just a crazy marketing expense in a lot of ways. This is really our opportunity to bring in a lot of players, both Web3 and just TCG enthusiasts into the game. Obviously, they get to compete for some pretty ridiculous prizes there. But on top of that, it's a great opportunity to show them just how polished, refined, strategic, and deep the game actually is. We get them in, we lead in from that into the formations drop with the new set coming out, which is shaping up to be just a really fun set to play. And from there, the sky's the limit. We've got mobile by the end of the year. We're looking at localization to have the game presented in a bunch of different languages, which would be really cool. So it should just make it, the combination of those two things together should make just a very accessible experience for everyone involved.
Excellent. Mate, there's no more questions that I can see here.
I might just do a bit of an update on the tokenomics from last week.
Yeah.
So I appreciate all of the feedback that was sent through. Had some discussions in some of the public channels, had some discussions via DM with some community members. And so I just wanted to give a couple of updates on the back of those discussions with some amendments to what we're thinking for the plan. Nothing huge. We're still like the plan to shift to RST is still in full force. And again, I just want to remind people that it's basically the combination of Raini and Photon all merged into one token with as much utility as possible. But yeah, absolutely appreciate that some people were disappointed with the dilution that was being seen and the X Photon allocation. So I'm pretty pleased to announce that we are now looking at increasing the X Photon allocation to 5% of total supply. We taking that out of the treasury allocation because of a new measure that we're putting in place, which is a sales tax. So we don't want to disincentivize anyone from buying RST, but by moving from Ethereum Raini to Beam, there should be lower fees charged by the decentralized exchange on LP. And so we just want to, as a sustainability mechanism, put a tax. If you're going to sell RST, then a maximum tax of 2% will apply, but it's probably going to be more like 0.75%. So nothing huge, but it should help make sure that we have enough tokens coming into Treasury to keep funding all the expansion and growth for many years to come. And then the final one is this was a suggestion by a couple of people, including Crypto Cloaker and Huncho. It's an adaptation of what they were suggesting. I think a lot of people were, in particular, not happy with the fact that there was a private sale conducted for the token. But we did have the burn mechanism that we're proceeding with. So yeah, we've workshopped it quite a bit and come to the conclusion. I think we're pretty happy with this path forward, where we would initially be setting the burn rate to 25%. So any purchases within the ecosystem will be burning 25% of tokens automatically, and then that difference, that 25% gap, will be allocating to a Rainy pool. When that Rainy pool hits 75 million, we'll be distributing it to wallets based on the pro rata amount of Rainy that they locked up to release RST. So it's just kind of like a future thing to, yeah, to reward our original Rainy holders who have been with us for the longest time, some since March of 21. And an incentive to work towards. After that time, then we'd likely be looking to increase the burn to the 50% mark we'd planned initially. Yeah, but that's just kind of a way to, yeah, basically negate the private sale in terms of dilution, less the amount that is being put into LP straight away. So Merit Circle are generously agreeing to put their tokens with MC into the liquidity pool. They participated in the private sales, so that's been scoped out. But the rest, yeah, we will be building up a Rainy pool to give back to all you Rainy holders once we hit that threshold. So yeah, I hope you guys are keen to get those extra tokens once they're ready, both in terms of the X Photon immediate increase allocation and the Rainy pool over time. But if there are any questions about that, feel free to post them, and we can answer in Telegram or at next week's AMA. I'm also just publishing an update to the Medium that outlines all this. So maybe have a read of that first, and then come to us if you got any questions.
That's awesome, mate. Thank you very much for that. So basically, the dollar X Photon pool has doubled. Did it 2.5 to 5?
Correct. Yep.
And sorry, just so I can just clarify that. So when people trade their dollar Rainy into through the portal into dollar RST, as we know, they get 1-to-1. But let's say I had $2 million Rainy. What you're saying is I put that $2 million Rainy, it gets me 2 million RST. That when the pool of RST hits 75 million of no,
so
that can't be right.
Okay, yeah. Let me explain, and I'll first clarify something that Marty was talking about earlier. The X Photon, the way that works is similar to an LP pool. So you, however many people stake or lock up their X Photon, there's an allocation each month to that X Photon pool that will be distributed based on your percentage ownership of the staked X Photon.
Okay.
And so the modeling we were doing, I should just clarify, because it does take a little bit of time, it should make sure that all the people, like the average Rainy participant, should be able to afford the top tier, the Rainiverse Battle Pass before the end of the season, so you get it all. But it won't be day one because it takes a bit of time to accumulate that. Alternatively, you can spend your Rainy to RST. I just wanted to clarify that point. In terms of the Rainy pool, this new proposed solution, it's basically whenever anyone in the ecosystem spends RST on a, like whether it's the Rainiverse Battle Pass or buying packs or converting to Lux, we will burn 25% of whatever they spend. We will then allocate another 25% to this Rainy pool. When that Rainy pool reaches 75 million, we'll distribute it based on the Rainy that's been locked up to release RST. Does that
Okay.
kind of make
Yes,
sense?
that makes sense.
Sure.
But the when you release it to the people that turn their Rainy into RST, it's proportional basically. So if they had 10 million or 50 million,
Yeah, so I mean, to
10%,
simplify it, if you had half of the Rainy in existence, you would
yeah,
get half of that 75 million. It's just all
okay,
based if assuming all of the Rainy was locked. So we're not gonna be
yeah,
distributing it to, I'm sure there's some Rainy that's been lost
lost,
the
yeah,
private keys for the wallet for. So you have to have actually locked it into the basically the bridge where it'll
sure.
be releasing RST for you.
So just for example, if a portion of Rainy just never gets locked, that 75 million will be proportionally shared by the people who did lock it, proportionally
Correct.
based on
Yep.
the
If
Rainy
if
that they
if
submitted. So it's
if
good for
only half
everybody
the
if
rating
people don't.
gets, yeah,
Yeah,
it rewards the active participants who
yeah,
actually are still engaged and go to the level of, yeah, bridging the rating to RST, then they get that extra reward down the track. Yeah.
that is excellent. I think, guys, thanks very much for doing that.
Yeah, pleasure.
Um,
Thanks for the ideas, guys, and thanks for all the feedback. We really appreciate it.
yeah, fantastic.
And
All
yeah, I
right.
mean, hopefully that also just addresses, because I know one of the big concerns I was seeing a lot on Telegram was that some of the private sale allocation wasn't vesting, that was being just basically dropped straight away on day one. But yeah, all the stuff that is dropping on day one is going straight into a liquidity pool. So yeah, we should actually have significantly more liquidity available day one for the new RST token. And obviously it won't be spread out across multiple chains, which would be great as well.
It was very interesting and good, I suppose, hearing Stephen talking about Rainy Studios, I suppose, and the potential of the game. He was pretty confident that it's the type of game that can attract. Well, he said 1 billion, but a lot of users, obviously. So he's obviously very impressed with what you guys have done, and that's why he's obviously the first to list on Beam, and they're really supporting you guys to power ahead. That's great. Well done.
Yeah. I think we definitely have one of, if not the best games that is Web3 native. I don't know if we'd say we're just a Web3 game anymore. So now it's just, yeah, getting it in front of as many people as possible and trying to get the player numbers up. If we can get that domino effect happening, then should be happy days from there.
I mean, there's 40,000 reasons why people should pay attention to RTLOL in September. So yeah, hopefully that ends up paying dividends for us.
Oh, most definitely. Just one more question. Sorry, guys. Like hear guys like Spike, for example, talk about TCGs, obviously, and may not even mention Lords of Light because he's not sponsored by us or something. But like some of those other ones, like Parallel, for example, do they have this sort of seamless Web 2 onboarding on theirs? They're all just completely Web 3. So you've got to be engaged with Web 3 to be able to play the game. Whereas we can engage Web 2s, take in normal dollars for things. Any other projects you know of that are doing what Build on Beam is allowing us to do?
I mean, probably the other projects will be the ones that are going to be working with Beam. As Stephen mentioned, they've got I think like 17 other games outside of us
Yep.
that are working closely with them. Some of which I've seen, some of which haven't been announced yet. But yeah, a lot of really cool games there. And
I
yeah,
believe there's some other projects as well. Like I think there's like an Arbitrum gaming chain called Zai, and they're starting to work on that as well. But yeah, Beam with the Merit Circle and Beam were the first ones that we came across who I think they've been planning this for some time, and they just had the best approach to it. There are a lot of different ways you can do the seamless onboarding, and I think theirs is just the least amount of friction possible. Yeah, so it
yeah,
makes
it was very obvious from the early conversations we were having with Beam that we were very aligned in how we believe the next generation of Web3 games needs to approach user acquisition, onboarding, just the experience that players have. And yeah, as we've said for a very long time, like our goal is to just build the best game, and then utilize the best parts of Web 2 and Web 3 to just provide the best experience to players. We've gone through the era of the Web 3 games/jobs. Now we're really hopefully moving into the era of where players are looking for fun, engaging experiences on par with what they can get in Web 2, but with all the added benefits of playing in the Web 3 ecosystem.
Awesome. That's great, guys. Thank you very much for that. That's all the questions.
Cool. Only a 70-minute AMA, not too bad today. One of these days we'll get under the 60 minutes and we won't know what to do with ourselves. I'll have to find more work to do or something. Anyway,
I'm sure you could fill that empty space, Marty, with more words.
I can go have like a micro nap or something. But yeah, thank you so much everyone
Ask
for
him a
tuning
design
in.
question.
Oh, sorry, Ray.
Yeah.
No, I
sure.
just said just
If you
ask
wanna-
you a design
if you wanna
question. We'll
stretch
fill
out
the
the
gap.
AMA.
I mean, yeah, I mean, one
Bartle's
of these days,
taxonomy.
yeah. I mean, I can talk about Bartles if you want. It's a really
No.
great model for player taxonomies for multiplayer games. You can Google it; it's out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today. If you're going to be around in about 12 hours time, I'm actually going to be a guest on the IndieGG Twitter. They've got a Twitter space AMA talking about the Lords of Light. So we'll be over there. I'll post some links a bit later on today. But yeah, chatting all things RTLOL. Definitely check out the tournament finals on their YouTube channel as well, where Nemesaur was able to take down Kishan. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, by the way. Let me know if I'm not. And yeah, obviously we're full speed ahead, heading towards season 1, heading towards the full launch of the RST token, and heading towards the 2023 World Championships.
Exciting times.
So, have a good day, everyone, and we'll catch you back here next week in the Rainiverse.
Later. Have a good one, guys.